So this week I want to talk about mental health. So how's your mental health doing? How are you doing?
How's my mental health doing? Well, actually, it's funny that you ask at this point because I'm okay mental health, I think, but like, you know, when you just have those couple weeks where, you know, you're not feeling the best, and it's because like there's a change happening in my life right now. And it's nothing bad either, actually. It's a good thing for who it's happening to. But it's a change. So for me, it's like
uncharted territory.
Yeah, like I just know like now after I'm like, oh, now things won't be the same, and it's just bothering me, and like I have some regret in certain areas. Every day gets a little better. So like mental health, I feel like needs to be worked on. You need to like
do you feel like you actively take care of yourself, your mental health? Do you think that that's something that you incorporate into your routine, into your day-to-day? Or like how do you make sure, do you suffer from
for sure.
Yeah?
I've definitely gone through shit, and like I've felt worse in my life in times, and you know, like I feel great right now. Like in this point in my life, I'm very content, and I think, you know, knock on wood, everything is great. But you know, you have those times where things are not the best, and you have like a couple of weeks where you may not feel
Yeah, I go through long periods of time where I'm just down, which it doesn't happen so often anymore because I actively make sure that I try to care for my mental health, because I definitely have struggled throughout my life with depression, and anxiety came later on, even though I don't even know if that's true, because I think I've always been
anxious. Like I remember talking to people and them saying like, oh, what is that like to feel anxious? And I've always envied that. Like, what?
Yeah.
Because there are
people that are like so chill.
I know
like,
people who have
cool
literally
as a cucumber.
said I've never felt anxious. And I'm talking, because I'm young, and I'm talking about much younger. I'm talking about when I'm like 15 years old. And at 15, you shouldn't feel anxious, but I definitely suffered anxiety early on in life.
But when I get into those moods where I'm down and I'm just depressed, but I fluctuate. Like I still go through it. Like I have to catch myself before I slip too deep into it. I have to make sure I make myself go outside and get out of bed. And sometimes I'm a little hard on myself because I can judge myself, saying like, you know, I shouldn't be feeling this way. And like life is great. Life is beautiful. It's amazing. So like why do I even spiral in that way? But then that's its own spiral. You know, like why are you depressed? Life is amazing. And that makes me more depressed because it's like, what's wrong with you? What are you crying about? What are you complaining about? But I had to learn to let myself be in that moment, like be sad. And that's where now I journal a lot and I meditate a lot, and I just like, music helps, dancing helps. Like journaling, oh my God. Changed my life. I need to wake up and set the tone for my day. Get everything that's on my mental that I'm focusing on out. Right. Because I was I think it was on TikTok. Some guy was saying, if you think about it, if you truly live in the present moment, there are no problems. You know, like what's wrong right now. I can understand if you're in a tragic situation, fine. But like everyday life, for people who get anxiety, if you truly live in the present moment and you try to actively do that, there are no problems within that moment. There are only problems with thinking about the future. What do you do to like make sure you don't slip into any kinds of like when you get anxious, what do you do for yourself?
When I get anxious, I like to journal as well. I think that's really good to do because it helps you it helps you stay present, because it's like you have to think of what you're writing in that moment. You can't like think too much of anything else. But like watching something I like that makes me feel comfortable and happy.
That's interesting. Watching something helps you get rid of your anxiety.
Yeah. Like certain things, like I can't watch certain things if I'm anxious because it makes me more anxious.
Like what?
Like normal things that I would watch. I can't think of it right now. It's dumb. It would be dumb to say.
It's not dumb. It's
It would
what
be-
makes you anxious.
Like, it would just be like a show that like I couldn't normally watch, whatever it is, or a movie. Like, I don't know, like I can't watch a horror movie if I'm feeling anxious, for example. Or any, like, or maybe even a regular show. It's just like certain things trigger like the way I'm feeling in that moment. So I have to like
so
be
funny.
careful. Like, I have to watch something like, I don't know, like Disney.
Relaxing. Disney?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. See, but what do you do, like, if you're outside, if you're driving or something, and all of a sudden you're, like,
Music.
anxious? Music, yeah.
That helps.
Music definitely helps. When I'm too in my head, you know what's funny, though? When in those moments where I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling depressed, I forget about those things. Not that I forget, but I'll sit there so in my mind, spending so much time in my head that I'm like, bitch, get up and put some music on, put a show on. I'll stay there like paralyzed in my own mind and just think and think and think, and before you know it, 5 hours have passed and I have done nothing to help myself besides think. I like to watch ASMR. You watch ASMR?
I used to like for fun watch like the eating ones. Makes me hungry.
The mukbangs?
I'm hungrier now.
I
Mukbang.
don't know how to say that.
To be honest, I think that works. Like, it really does make you hungrier. My fiance thinks it's repulsive. He's like, that's disgusting. Why are you watching that?
I can't, like, people like my sister would not be able to watch it because the chewing sound is something she's always hated.
Don't get me wrong. Like, if a person sitting next to me is chewing like that, I will still be disgusted by it because you should not be chewing that loud next to me. But considering these people that are doing it on the camera, they're doing it with like a microphone, and I don't know, it's just like the way they're doing it, it's like looks good. Like, I'm hungry. Like, that looks delicious.
Oh, like when they eat the ramen. Oh my god.
Yeah, like it just looks so good. Like, I want to eat something right now because of that. Or like the cakes and the like.
I love.
Sorry, I just really got into it for a second.
Oh my god, I love.
But yeah,
it.
like that. To me, that definitely is relaxing. People love that. Or like, I know what you're talking about, ASMR in terms of like the sounds.
Well, it's all sound. Like, even that is ASMR.
Yeah, it is sound.
Like, it's the sound. I don't know if you have any weird things that relax you that are sounds, because for me, growing up, I would always fall asleep to the sounds of the vacuum and the blow dryer. Like when my mom was getting ready
That's
in the
like
morning,
that's
she would
normal.
like blow dry her hair, but that's ASMR.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those things?
Not particularly. Like, I am not bothered by noise though. I'm not the type that, like,
I love noise.
I'm not bothered by it, but I don't have anything that actually relaxes me that I'm like, some people need to turn on like the air conditioner, or
like I have to have my fan
that,
on
like,
sleeping.
literally put a vacuum on like babies to make them fall asleep.
Yeah, it's so true.
My parents
would
would drive around with me in the car.
Aww.
And that's how I fall asleep. So maybe driving.
Actually,
yes.
The car.
When I'm super like I need to get out of a situation, like I need to get out, I'll get in my car and drive.
You already know. I'll take like a 4-hour drive for no reason.
When you're just super anxious and you're like, I need to get out, like, you need to clear your mind. So
during quarantine, I was driving 2 hours out on the island, 2 hours back, just because.
Getting in the car, just
driving,
putting music on and driving for a bit makes me feel better.
Driving is therapeutic. That's definitely one of my therapies. That's something that I do when I'm feeling down. I take a drive, or I dance, or I just listen to music, journal, meditate.
All really great. I don't meditate as much as I probably should because I have that problem of like sitting there and just not. I can't. It's so hard for me. I shouldn't say I can't. It's hard for me too.
But meditation is a practice. The same way people practice medicine. Meditation is a practice because it's constantly being worked on. You know what I mean? Like, in the beginning, it was very difficult for me to just sit there and just like clear my mind. What is that? Clear my mind. You know what I mean? But people also don't have to sit on a cushion and meditate. Meditation can be, there is such a thing as active meditation. You can meditate while you're taking a shower, while you're jogging, while you're reading, while you're writing, while you're drinking your coffee, while you're doing dishes. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many times where my greatest revelations have come to me in the shower or while I'm doing dishes. There's something about water that gets my mind just clear and I can think and just ideas start coming to me. I come up with a new invention almost every time I'm in the shower, but I forget about it by the time I leave the shower.
Bring a journal on the side of your shower.
I wanted to get a marker for like the wall of my shower so I can write. I swear to God, no, like waterproof. I'm telling you, that's one of my inventions. I don't know what it is that once I leave the shower, I start my day and that's it. I forget about everything that just happened in there. And I have the greatest revelations in there. It's so amazing. People think like you have to just meditate and you have to be super zen and there's this Biet Simkin. I went to one of her meditations and it changed my life because it was not your regular meditation. She had us screaming, she had us like pounding the floor, she had us going crazy. I thought I almost lit myself on fire. She had us going crazy in there, letting out all of this emotion, and it really brings you into this space of bliss because you're letting it out, right? You're not just sitting there thinking about all the bullshit. You're screaming, you're mad, you're angry, you're sad, you cry, like you laugh, you just let out the emotion, and that allows you to just be. And that's where you find that stillness and that silence. But that's why I kind of try to journal before I meditate. I'll journal or I'll pray, because the way I pray is like I'm having a conversation with you. So it's like I tell them what's on my mind, what's bothering me. I'll have that conversation with my spirits and my guides, and then I'll try to meditate, because everything that was on my mind I already got off my mind. You know, so you have to let it out. Journaling is another way of letting it out. You transmute energy. You change energy. You change your energy by writing out what it is that you're feeling and putting it on paper. And then if you burn it, even better, because then you're kind of like, it dissipates and that's it. There's so many times where I do that with my clients. I have them write down their problems and we burn that shit and that's it. It's time to give it to the universe and keep it moving. Yeah. Have you ever been to therapy?
Me? No, I haven't.
Or like groups or anything?
No, actually. No.
I have to say, if anyone is...
And I'm not against it. I think it's great to talk to someone.
If anyone struggles with that, or like the idea of going to someone or going to a group, I 100% am... What is that called? I'm 100% supportive of that, because when I was in high school, my high school offered groups for all different, actually they had a whole bunch of different kinds of groups, support groups. Mine was people who lived with alcoholics and drug abusers. So every week, once a week, we met up, and it was a whole bunch of us, and we would just talk. We would just talk about what's going on, and she would, it was run by a nun. I don't know if I could say her name.
This was high school?
This was high school. But it was the first time that I was ever introduced to a setting like that, where you're actually around people that understand, because it was just something that my friends couldn't relate to. Certain friends couldn't relate to. I just, you go to school, you don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. But you struggle in school because of what's going on at home. So it's very important to be open-minded to groups like that, because there are so many. If anyone needs help or support, just look up a group. They're anonymous, you can go, and some of them are by donation, some of them are free. And it's nice to just be able to talk to people who understand you. And even listening to them, even if you don't want to talk and you just sit there and listen for a little while, that's even better, because it's validation that you're not alone in that kind of situation. Everyone's struggling somehow, and it opens up your eyes.
And it's hard to talk to people because you don't know, because people don't share what they're going through. And when you're so young, that's the thing I've learned, of course. Every adult says this to you as a kid, like, you shouldn't care what others say. But as a kid, it's so hard not to care what others say about you. Even as an adult, it is.
People
but
that's
something I really try to work on, is why do you care what others say about you?
Yeah. Why do we care?
Why do you actually care? Do you, like, those people don't really matter to you, so why do you care what they're saying? You know, you shouldn't.
It's the same thing with this though, right? Like, it took me so long to make videos or put out anything like this because it's like, who cares?
Right, but at the end of the day, like, you're not really doing
who's listening? You know what I mean?
You're not doing it for that purpose. You're doing it, yeah.
So it's kind of like you have to be confident in yourself. Like, you're not. It's so hard to really believe in yourself sometimes, but those doubts, that self-doubt, those feelings of like, why would I do that? Nobody cares. There's something on TikTok. I love TikTok. It's one of the sounds where the girl's like, oh, I can't open that up. That's on Instagram already, or somebody has that open already. And the girl's like, how many times do you see a McDonald's across the street from a Burger King? You know, like, somebody could be doing it, but everyone's preference is different. Like, I may not be your cup of tea, but somebody else is gonna get something from what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just do it. You cared so much about what other people are gonna think or how you're gonna be perceived on the other side, and it's like, why the fuck do I even care?
Exactly.
Why do I care?
As long as you're
who
happy
cares?
and
And I remember my grandmother always like, it's always, you gotta clean the house. Like, somebody's coming over, the whole house gotta be soaked, spotless, like, clean every inch of it. Like, they're not gonna be looking underneath my bed, I promise you. You know what I mean? But she cared so much about the presentation and the appearance, and like, oh, what are they gonna think of her if, you know, or if her china is not, or her crystal's
something's
not sparkly, you know, like, see, she feels that way when people come into her house because, sorry, but when she goes into other people's houses, she's looking around like, 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 what? She'll start critiquing their stuff, and it's like, but you.
That's interesting.
Like,
someone who's like wanted it to be so perfect is critiquing.
The way people treat you is just what's going on within themselves. Mm-hmm. That's why you really can't take those things personally. People mirror each other. We are just mirrors of each other. And that's why when people trigger you, or somebody says something and it gets under your skin and it bothers you, you have to look at yourself. Like, why is that bothering me? Why is it that she said that and all of a sudden you get all riled up? Having control of your emotions is the most powerful thing you can do. You cannot give someone the power to say something and then all of a sudden you lose it. All of a sudden you like are this. It's ugly.
It is.
It's ugly. Like, when I get pissed off and I get my, you know, I get in my whatever, and
I have moments I'm ashamed of,
and it's not pretty. No, it's not a good version of yourself.
It isn't.
And it's not the best version.
You're letting out so much energy that does not need to be let out. Like, why are you wasting all that energy when you can handle it so much different? It's trust me, I have had moments that I'm not proud of. That is not the way you handle things when you are angry, when you're upset. If you say how you feel, you let it go. Not let it go, but you say how you feel, and that's it.
There's always a way to say how you feel. But you can be the bigger person and still say what you gotta say. There's always a way to say it.
There's a way to say things. But what you said before was actually really perfect. Not reacting. If anything, you are being the bigger person. You are showing that person so much more. You don't need a whole grand reaction. It should just be something you say how you feel, and you like when we were. I feel like it's like the teen years, because that's what I'm thinking about. Like, being young and like trying to be so like riled up for what?
Even recent, like within the past few years, I've gotten much better. But like, my temper can get a little